Let's talk about the Chiefs signing a cornerback to their 53-man roster. Rashee Rice continuing to impress and defy expectations, especially as a rookie. Several new additions being added to this week's injury report. One of the most important players on the defensive side of the ball soon to come back from IR as his 21-day return window opened up today and he was seen out at practice. So let's talk about it. But first, how about those? All right, first up, Patrick Mahomes won the AFC Player of the Week award for the 10th time in his career after helping KC secure a rather convincing victory over the Raiders after trailing 14-0 and coming back to win 31-17. And with that, Mahomes trails only 3 other active QBs, with only Aaron Rodgers, 19, Josh Allen, 12, and Russell Wilson, 11, having more. And Patrick basically said today in his presser that winning this award means the teammates around him played well, and for that he's grateful. And I think he's also grateful for rookie wide receiver Rashee Rice, who Patrick said continues to get better, is making less overall mistakes, and once he talks about a mistake on the sideline with Rice, quote, he doesn't make the same mistake again. Rice is also tied for the 3rd most receiving touchdowns with 5 among all rookies this season, and is 2nd amongst all wide receivers, averaging 8.1 yards after the catch per reception, only behind Noah Brown of the Texans, who is averaging 9.1. Then, with Rice coming off a 100-yard game last week, this makes him one of only a few rookies to accomplish this for the Chiefs over the last 20 seasons. That's right, the only others to accomplish this were Lambeau, who did this twice, 2 100-yard games in 2007, then Jamal Charles had a 102-yard receiving game in 2008, and the only others to get close, I believe, between 2008 and Rashee Rice in 2023 was Tyreek Hill in 2016 and Kareem Hunt in 2017, who both had a 98-yard receiving game in their rookie seasons. So, not only is Rice the first rookie wide receiver since Lambeau to accomplish 100 or more yards in a game since 2007, but he's also the first Chiefs receiver to do this since Juju Smith-Schuster in Week 6 of the 2022 season against the Buffalo Bills. Rice is also currently the 6th highest graded rookie so far this season, trailing only behind Jalen Carter, CJ Stroud, Devin Witherspoon, Puka Nacua, and Tank Dell. A list of dogs, if you ask me. And speaking of dogs, I can't even mention that word without thinking about kicker Harrison Butker, who is officially having the best start of the season of any Chiefs kicker ever. So I want to talk about that, a couple injury reports, including the soon-to-be return of a very valuable defensive player, a cornerback getting signed to the roster, and more. But first, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Underdog Fantasy, the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports, as well as the season-long partner of the channel. And right now, any new customer who signs up using code HBTC or the sign up link in the description will get a 100% deposit match up to $100, as well as a pick'em special in the lobby. And these specials are always very easy W's to help you win up to 20x on your money using pick'ems by choosing higher or lower on certain stats from 2 to 5 key players. And some states even have access to Scorchers, a way to win up to 100x on your money, which is pretty insane. So make sure to check out the app to see if it's available for you, but if it's not, no worries, as there's plenty of tournaments you can play in every single week, winning various prizes, and most of them are super easy to play, only take 3 to 6 minutes to complete, and again give out quite a bit in prizes. So make sure to head on over to the Underdog website or app, both are super easy to navigate, and use code HBTC at sign up to get your first deposit of up to $100 matched, plus a pick'em special in the lobby. Alright, we all know Harrison Butker is having an incredible season, but did you know it's the best start to a season of any Chiefs kicker ever? So far, he's 48 for 48, making all 20 of his field goal attempts and all 28 extra points. He's also currently the 2nd highest graded kicker, only behind Jake Elliott per PFF, but even Elliott has missed 2 field goals and 1 PAT. In fact, Butker is actually the only kicker in the league yet to miss a kick of any kind, and is just the 10th kicker in league history to remain perfect through their first 11 games of a season. And I know, some of you are thinking, don't talk about this, Cole, you will jinx it. Well, guess what? Jinxing is as real as the tooth fairy. Not gonna happen. Sorry to let you down. And even if Butker misses a kick, it's fine. It's bound to happen sooner or later, but as long as it's not a game-winning kick, no harm, no foul. Something else that I found to be pretty interesting was this graphic that was shared by First Things First, and it lists teams who have the most difficult schedule, at least played so far, if you base that schedule off of the win percentage of their opponents this season. And 2 teams from the AFC West are in the top 4, with those being the Kansas City Chiefs at number 2 and the Chargers at number 4. And this doesn't mean much at the end of the day, other than the fact that the Chiefs have won 8 of their 11 games played when facing the second hardest schedule so far this season, which is pretty impressive, but no real surprise that Andy Reid and company are finding ways to get it done, even if the Chiefs' offense is still finding their footing. Meanwhile, the defense is playing out of their freaking minds. Hopefully, though, the offense can keep it moving this Sunday night against the Packers like they did last week against the Raiders, which will actually be Mahomes' first time playing at Lambeau Field. The Packers are coming off a 2-game win streak, and with them being just 1 game behind the Vikings, they'd love to get this W against Kansas City. Jordan Love has played pretty well in these last 2 games, throwing 5 touchdowns and 0 INTs in their wins over the Chargers and Lions. Thankfully, though, the Chiefs defense continues to prove they are the real deal, as they remain the only team in the NFL to hold the opposition under 25 total points in every game this season, marking the first time since 2013 that a team began a season with 11 consecutive games of that nature. And it's the longest such streak to start a season for Kansas City since 1991, which was the year I was born. Next up, Andy Reid gave a couple of injury updates, which we will get to in a moment. But before we get there, the Chiefs recently made a couple roster moves that are worth talking about. First up, the Chiefs signed cornerback Ekow Boye-Doe from their practice squad to the 53-man roster, a space that was actually made available due to the fact that KC placed Mecole Hardman on IR last Saturday due to the thumb injury he sustained in the Chiefs and Eagles game. It turns out that Mecole actually needed surgery on his thumb, which he himself announced on Twitter 2 days ago, saying that the surgery was thankfully successful, and also let everybody know he will be back before the end of the regular season, which makes it seem like he won't be out much longer than the 4 weeks required on IR, and we should see his return window open up shortly after. Anyway, with Mecole being moved to IR, the Chiefs had 1 spot open on the 53-man roster, and for whatever reason, they chose to sign cornerback Ekow Boye-Doe to that roster. He had a pretty good training camp and made some splash plays in the preseason. He's also a valuable depth piece that has been there for a while, and there's a couple of things that could have led to this happening. One could be another team possibly showing an interest in Ekow, and the Chiefs were like, no thank you, and signed him to the roster. So that's one possibility. Or maybe they're bringing him up for some depth, because the Chiefs injury report revealed today that both safety Brian Cook and cornerback L'Jarius Sneed are on there, though they were both full participants in practice. Either way, if Boye-Doe is active Sunday against the Packers and dresses out, he will probably be used on special teams at the very least. Now, for whatever reason, the Chiefs also officially waived wide receiver John Ross, not Justin Ross, who's dealing with legal issues, okay, but John Ross from the reserve/retired list. And with that being said, I just want to take a moment to thank the former 9th overall pick of the 2017 draft who ran the fastest ever combine 40 time, the pick that went just before Patrick Mahomes in the draft, for all he did for Kansas City over OTAs and the 3 days he lasted at Andy Reid's training camp in St. Joe before deciding to hang up the cleats. We are forever indebted to his contributions to the kingdom, so thank you very much. All right, with all trolling aside, I do wish the best for John Ross and whatever the next chapter holds for him, but with that out of the way, the Chiefs have also opened up the 21-day window for linebacker Nick Bolton. That's right. Andy Reid spoke with the media today and told them he will get some work in during Monday's practice, but quote, we'll just bring him along slowly and see how he does. Aaron Ladd shared this brief video of Nick Bolton out there at practice wearing what appears to be a hard cast around his wrist and by his fingers, so we will see how he does this week, though I seriously doubt he returns for the game against the Packers. He could, however, be back to face off against either the Bills in week 14 or maybe the Patriots in week 15. And whenever this ends up happening, Bolton is going to provide even more of a boost to the defense, being one of the best players out there, and hopefully we see that cast come off sooner than later, but again, time will tell there. Either way, I'm just thankful he's making strides in the right direction. As far as the rest of the team is concerned, everyone else practiced today aside from running back Jerick McKinnon, who Andy Reid said will still not practice due to the lingering groin issue he's been battling through. And with that, I would guess that means we will once again see another Pacheco-CEH combo this Sunday, unless McKinnon starts to trend in an upward manner throughout the week on the injury report. Then, as far as everybody else, Bolton was on there listed as limited. Then again, Brian Cook, bicep, and L'Jarius Sneed, knee. both fully participated. Snead's knee has been a lingering issue since like last year, and even more so in the postseason. He then sat out almost all of training camp and preseason, so hopefully it's just minor swelling and he'll be fine. Kadarius Toney is on there, and he was ruled out for Sunday's game against Vegas, but fully participated today, as did everybody else on there. But there were some new additions we got to talk about that have popped up on there after the Raiders game, with those being Rashee Rice, foot, Donovan Smith, neck, and Sky Moore, knee. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not the biggest fan of having one wide receiver on IR and McCole Hardman and 3 wide receivers currently on the injury report, especially Rashee Rice. But hey, they all fully participated, which is a positive, but something to monitor throughout this week. And with all that being said, are you guys concerned at all about any of these new injuries on the report? And how excited are you to see the return of Nick Bolton here in the near future? Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments down below. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?